This podcast is not for the overly sensitive, the terminally optimistic, or anyone who thinks dating in your 50s is a whimsical romantic comedy. Listener discretion is advised.
More truth, less romance. This is Girls Can Tell. It's not me, it's you, with Trent Erickson.
I see everything, and I pretend not to. The way you check your reflection in a storefront window thinking nobody notices, the fake laugh you give when your boss tells a terrible joke, the hesitation before you say you're fine when your face says otherwise. I notice, but I don't always call it out. This episode was inspired by an email from Adam in Santa Fe who asked, "Why is everybody so full of shit?" Right to the point, just like I like it, Adam. But those 7 words hit hard and got me thinking, why is everybody so full of shit? Welcome to Girls Can Tell. It's not me, it's you. I'm Trent, and today's episode not only applies to your dating life, but your real life as well. We're talking about the things we notice, the facades we keep up, and why, and what happens when we stop pretending. Let's get into it. You can learn everything important about someone in 53 seconds. Not in their words, they're too easy to fake, but in the small things. The way someone's shoulders are tense when they nod too eagerly in a meeting, desperate to please. Or the way they avoid eye contact when talking about how great their weekend was. Last week, I'm at dinner with a friend, and a woman 4 tables away was performing her crazy weekend story loud enough for the whole room to hear. Her eyes darted between her date and the strangers around her, begging for attention. But her hands were scratching at the tablecloth nonstop, and that's what told the real story. She wasn't confident, just desperate to be seen. I didn't say anything. Calling it out would have made me look like an asshole, but I saw it, and it stuck with me. You don't start out noticing these things. It's not a gift as much as it's a reflex, built out of necessity. Growing up as the youngest, I learned to read the room pretty fast. Who's lying, who's about to snap. You mostly stay quiet and watch, and when you do speak, you get your point across real quick. Working in the media, teaching, or dating after 50 really sharpens it further. In all my jobs, I've got about 10 seconds to prove myself to 1 or 100,000 people before they make a decision on whether they want to spend more time with me or not. Some days I wish I could turn it off. Just walk into a room and not see the guy faking confidence in a brand new 3-piece suit wearing old worn-out shoes, or the woman smiling and nodding while listening to her friend's story, trying to hide her boredom. But once you start seeing, you can't stop. It's more recon than judgment, because I get why people do this. And that's why I'm usually 6 steps ahead of people, already deciding if I even want to deal with the situation while they're still trying to figure out what just happened. Noticing everything means seeing how much pretending is happening everywhere. People pretending they're fine with a job they hate, pretending they don't care when someone disrespects them, pretending to be chill when their whole body is a ball of tension. And they expect you to play along, nod and smile, just so they can keep their delusions going. I used to play that game. I'd let things slide, stay quiet when someone was being unfair, act like I didn't see the lie. I thought that's what it meant to get along. But it erodes you. You begin to almost lose track of what you actually think and how you really feel. You become the version of yourself that's just a reflection of what others want. Now, I'm done with that. I'm not saying I call out every little thing. I don't need to get worked over by 3 guys behind a Fuddruckers because I called out someone for having a conversation loudly on their speakerphone for 30 minutes on the train. But I'm not going to act like I believe you when I don't. I'm not going to smile when you're being cruel just to keep you from feeling embarrassed about it. Some people don't like that. They say I'm too intense or direct, but what they mean is I'm not making it easy for them to keep their phony narrative going. And I'm okay with that. If it means fewer invites to your drunk Uncle Donnie's 72nd birthday bash, cool. I probably wasn't coming anyway. Sorry, Donnie. People love to brand themselves. I'm laid back, they say, but the strain in their voice tells another story. They say I'm a free spirit while checking their phone for likes every 5 minutes. And you hear them say, I'm fine, but their eyes dim when they mention a lost job. It's not always ill-intentioned. I mean, a lot of times it's because their minds protect them and won't let them see the truth. They've built a story in their minds about who they are because the real version feels too messy or weird. But if you say, you're smart 3 times in one conversation, you're not smart. You're just dumb enough to think people will believe you the 4th time you say it, apparently mistaking themselves for a hypnotist. But the real you is always there, showing through in the way you dodge certain topics or how you light up when you talk about something you love. I don't push anyone to admit it because most people won't. They just aren't ready to. But I see it, and it determines who I keep close and who I keep at an arm's length. I've had people pull away because I said something they didn't want to hear, like you're letting your friend take advantage of you, or you're not being honest with yourself about why you're so angry. They get defensive because the truth hurts when you're used to hiding from it, but I'd rather say it and lose them than stay quiet and lose myself. The trick here is finding people who don't need you to pretend because they aren't offended by the truth and they don't flinch when you call things as you see them. They're rare, for sure, but they're worth it. Everyone else can keep their surface level conversations and their fake smiles. I'd rather be alone than surrounded by all that. When you stop pretending, life gets clearer. You trust your own thoughts. You've stopped over-explaining or feeling silenced. You don't worry if everyone likes you because you realize most people don't see you. They see the version of you they've decided you are. Like your family, who you've been locked in a role with since you were 10. Nobody hides as well as they think. Your body and eyes are always giving you away. The slump in your shoulders when you think no one's watching, the quick laugh to cover an insecurity, or the way you keep circling back to your good friend Dave for the 5th time that day. I pick up on that. I can tell when someone's scared of being alone by how they fill every silence, and I can tell they're still in love with their ex by the words they use to describe their breakup. Even the best of them have tells. The guy who's always in control at work but his voice softens when he mentions his kid. The people who claim to be very religious. They're always the ones that act least like their book teaches. I've seen this countless times, and I'm not even religious. I don't unravel their story, but I use it to help me decide who's worth my time. So yeah, I notice. I've always noticed, and I stopped pretending that I don't in most circumstances. And if that makes me hard to deal with, then so be it. There's enough fake, easygoing people in the world to balance it out, and if they want to live that way, that's their choice, and maybe in some ways life is easier for them. I'm not here to smooth things over. I'm not a mediator sent to handle things during your 3rd divorce. I'm here to tell the truth, say what I think is right, make a few jokes, and maybe help you feel a little less weird for seeing what you see too. This has been Girls Can Tell. It's not me, it's you. I'm Trent, and new episodes every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Drop me an email at girlscantellpodcast@gmail.com. I read every one of them. Thanks for the messages after last week's episode. It means something when you take the time to reach out. If you like the show, tell someone about it. That's how it grows, word of mouth, from people you know and trust. Unless nobody trusts you, then in that case don't tell them about it because you'll do more harm than good. And if somebody's trying to convince you they're something they're not, you're dealing with a fake and you don't want to know what else they're hiding because it's probably buried in their crawl space.